What did Mikasa do after the rumbling? Attack on Titan did a wonderful job wrapping up all the plot points and all the story points. But there is a couple of things that the author, some say, left ambiguous. And one of these things is Mikasa's fate after the rumbling. Now, there are a couple theories in regards to this. The first theory, the most popular theory, and the most reasonable theory, is that Mikasa married Jean Christine and had some children with him. This is the most rational interpretation of events. Jean is a person who was loving and caring to her from the beginning, way back since the training arc, and he has expressed his interest in her multiple times and has put his life on the line for Mikasa. He also has the advantage of understanding Mikasa's complex relationship with Eren and his love for him, as he himself loves Eren too. He is a nice, well-adjusted, handsome young man, and they would make a great couple. And of course, we see Mikasa's children and even grandchildren with her at the end of her life. This is just the common main interpretation. In fact, I would say the correct interpretation.
Exactly right.
Secondly, we have an interpretation that I feel takes a bit of liberty, but still the people who make it come from a great place. These are the people who believe that Mikasa never actually got married. She lived a satisfying life as a single woman. She may have adopted some children from the story's orphanage, may have engaged in some hobbies, gotten herself a job, or hell, maybe even gotten a pension from Historia for her work in the military and that small thing of saving the world. Who really knows? All that matters is that she lived a happy young woman and died in her bed, peacefully. And then we come across a very strange, contradictory breed of people that are known colloquially as EMs. These strange creatures are the most miserable, fertile, childish people we have ever come across. Now, some of you saw my documentary about the AoE chat and how they were embarrassed greatly on November 5th. These theories from the EMs will put every single Hope Chat theory to shame. Buckle up, because what you're about to see, you may never unsee. Now let's get into some of the theories. First is the white lily flower bed. Now, according to these people, the white lily flower in Japanese culture apparently is a symbol for virginity. So when they saw that she was buried in a white lily flower bed, they assumed that she must indeed be a virgin. One of these people actually had an outburst at their grandmother's funeral. Their grandmother actually served in World War II. She was an incredibly brave and strong woman who also never married. However, at her funeral, they did not have white lilies. Quite the contrary, they had red roses because the family thought that would look very nice. Now, the grandson, that being the EM, freaked out and threw a giant temper tantrum, overturning tables, throwing food, and screaming because he thought that it would only be appropriate for such a strong, independent woman who was never married to be buried in something symbolizing her purity and strength, that being a bed of white lilies. He was escorted from the funeral and is now serving time in the Florida State Penitentiary. Now, on to the second theory, the tattoo/bandage theory. Now, many astute EMs noticed that when Mikasa was buried, she still had on the bandage on her forearm that was covering the Azumabi-2 tattoo that her mother gave her. Now, if you recall correctly, in The World the Girl Saw, Chapter 6, Mikasa's mother is giving Mikasa a tattoo and giving her a bandage and telling her that they are to pass down this brand, aka tattoo, down when she has a child. Now, these people somehow, someway, misinterpreted this to mean that Mikasa was actually supposed to pass down not a tattoo, not the brand, but the actual band-aid covering the tattoo. Yes, dear listener, they believe that this stinky, dirty, old bandage has been passed down in the Asamavitu clan for generations and generations, going back hundreds of years. In fact, one EM got sent to the hospital after an altercation with food staff, had to get a cast. Now, when they went back to the hospital to get the cast removed, the person actually tried to tape the cast so the doctor could use it for the next patient, and so on and so forth. The doctor was so disgusted that this EM was transferred out of the emergency room to the psych ward, where she remains imprisoned today. Thank goodness. And now for the last and craziest theory. I told you at the beginning that nothing that AoE chats could do could ever eclipse the insane, delusional nature of EMs. Let's take a look at how they turn obvious and clear symbolism into their own special cope. When Mikasa is buried, she's actually buried with a ring on her ring finger. Now, in American culture, this usually symbolizes matrimony, marriage, and love. Many women in America and Japan have wedding rings on their fingers after getting married. This is actually quite common if you didn't know. Now, these people decided to twist this and say, actually, no, this isn't a wedding ring. This is a chastity ring. You see, Mikasa was so devoted to her dead boyfriend that she decided to posthumously honor her relationship and love with him by remaining single and chaste, but not only remaining single and chaste, broadcasting to the entire planet that she is single and chaste.
Once again, Washington was involved with this. Former President and avid EM Bill Clinton held a press conference after the extra pages were released to address the issue.
Mikasa did not have sexual relations with that man. These allegations are false.
Their projection is so strong, it even goes into their personal lives. One of these EMs, upon going to the store to spend their weekly allowance on Pockies, received a compliment about how nice their ring was. They asked, how long have you been engaged for? Only for the EM to be extremely insulted and reply with, no ma'am, I am not married or engaged. This is a ring to symbolize my chastity, so that men who may be into me will know that I am a virgin and therefore pure. Now, all of this nonsense culminated in what I like to refer to as the PowerPoint incident. The PowerPoint incident was an incident that occurred on June 4th, 2024. Everyone was enjoying a peaceful, quiet day, and then suddenly some small account mentioned that they were going to make a PowerPoint explaining why Eren and Historia works in the narrative. Unwittingly knowing of the disaster that would befall them, the poor PowerPoint intern wrote, and I quote, Eren and Historia, we are ready for that PowerPoint. Those horrible and faithful words sealed the fate of not only the AOT community and EMs, but this poor, despondent PowerPoint intern. The EM community immediately got word of this PowerPoint tweet and immediately started harassing every single person who was affiliated with this. They sent hundreds of thousands of messages angrily in response to an innocuous corporate tweet. These people had so much projection that they could no longer distinguish fiction from reality. They legitimately and truly thought that PowerPoint was shipping Eren and Historia. Little did they know that most people and companies try to promote their products via social media. A quick search at PowerPoint's tweets will reveal that every single time PowerPoint is mentioned, the PowerPoint social media team usually says something positive about the thing that they're making the PowerPoint for. These freaks could not distinguish between fiction and reality, as I previously said, and they had no idea this was actually just a corporation with a corporate social media account. This got so bad that after 3 days of intense harassment, reportedly the intern quit. He got up from his desk and told his boss through tears and sniffles, "I cannot do this anymore. I can't keep up. The messages are terrifying." End quote. With that, he got in his car and was never seen again. The EM community forced him out of his job and possibly may have indirectly ended his life. Now, the question remains, why are these people like this? Why are they so passionate and animate about this? I think it is due to the psychological phenomenon known as projection. Projection is defined by, quote, the mental process by which people attribute to others what is in their own minds. For example, individuals who are self-critical consciously or unconsciously may think that other people are critical of them. These people project into Mikasa's character big time. There is no other possible explanation for their strange behavior. They take all of the quote-unquote positive attributes about themselves and project them into Mikasa. Now, they live with themselves, so they know they have many, many unsavory and terrible things about them. So what do? Do they project them into Mikasa? Why no. They think Mikasa is a perfect angel, so they of course project those into their enemies. They say everything bad about themselves about their enemies. They are incels and cannot be in a relationship because no self-respecting man or woman for that fact would ever be in a relationship with them. And so they call everyone that they don't like incels. They are disgusting, childish freaks who cannot stand anyone else's opinions. And so what do they say about their opponents? Well, of course, we are childish, disgusting freaks. This would explain why they call everyone incels, despite the fact that most people who ship John and Mikasa are actually women. How can you be a dude bro and a woman? Now, fortunately, in a twist of events, there actually may be some hope for EMs. As Mikasa's final destination was indeed perdition, maybe EMs have something in common with Mikasa after all.